Hello, hello, beautiful people. Today I want to talk about why feeling absolutely shitty in your practice of meditation or after a session or during a session, which is a 7 day intensive Zen retreat, can be actually is a good thing and very often is a very good thing. I think the biggest misconception about spirituality in general and also meditation and retreats is that we have to feel always good and feeling good, feeling uplifted, walking around with a halo over our head is actually a sign of progress. Not so. Very often, when we feel the crappiest, when we feel the most psychological pain, when we absolutely hate ourselves, sometimes even, that's when we are actually making progress. And on the contrary, sometimes when we are in a retreat and if we feel just so wonderful and so relaxed, it can very often, not always, but very often mean that we're actually not progressing, that we're stuck somewhere. And that's what Hakuin called the cave of dead sitting. Now, it doesn't mean always this that when you're feeling good, that means you're not progressing. But it all means that sometimes when you really feel terrible, just terrible, it doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that it's a part of the healing process. It's part of the deepening of your practice. It's a sign of progress. And that's what my teacher always tells me. And the reason why I bring it up because after I did 3 sessions in 1 month. 2 were back to back, which is pretty much 14. 1 week off, and then another session. And after that, I had a very, very hard time. And I'm happy I did that. So why is that? Why is it that sometimes when we feel the worst in our practice of meditation or in a retreat, on our spiritual practice and our spiritual journey, is that where we're actually making the most progress? Well, the reason why sessions and retreats are structured the way they are is because we do anywhere from 8 to 12, 10, 12 hours of meditation a day, depending on where you go. And you can't really move, you don't talk during the whole week, and you're sitting there, you're eating bland food. The reason for that is it's meant to disrupt your habitual thinking pattern, right? We can't escape it. When you're sitting for an hour at a time, 2 hours at a time, with some walking here and there, kinhin, you can't escape it. So when you're sitting like that, those negative things, I call them negative, but they're not really negative or positive. Those old thought patterns come up, and my teacher calls them where we are caught come up. Those things that are holding in us prisoners to our false self, really. And it can be painful to face it. It can be painful to deal with it, but that's a good thing. So when we're feeling miserable, sometimes after retreat or practicing on our own um, meditation on a daily basis, it means that we hit a place where we need to work further. That means that something that is hitting in our subconscious, we're often poisoning our lives. It can be a negative thought pattern, it can be a limiting belief, it can be a feeling of I'm not good enough, it can be a victim consciousness. They come to the surface. And when they come to the surface, very often, though not always, we feel miserable and we're in some sort of pain. And it's a good thing because my friend used to say the devil you know is better than the one you don't. So those negative things where we're caught up come to the surface, and that's what it's supposed to do. That's what Sesshin's supposed to do. They come to the surface so we can clear them, so we can heal those wounded part of ourselves, so we can let go of the places where we are caught, as my teacher always says. And it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, on the surface, it may seem like we're getting worse. It seems like we're not making progress. I mean, how are we making progress if we feel even worse than before the meditation retreat? But it means there is a chance for us, and that it means that at the moment we're working with what we need to work for. For me, those feelings of helplessness during my childhood come to the surface, and I have to deal with them, and it's a wonderful thing. So when you're sometimes are you don't it doesn't have to always be that way, but if you have had trauma, you have a difficult upbringing, these things may come up. That's why I bring it up. You can feel fantastic and still making progress. But very often when we feel miserable in our practice, we come to the conclusion that we're not making progress, and nothing could be further from that. That means that we're going deeper, that we're progressing, and things come to the surface right in our face that we need to deal with. It could be lack of self worth, lack of self esteem. It could be something we've done in the past. It could be lack of faith in ourselves. It could be a million different things. But that's a wonderful time to really dive even deeper and really work with whatever comes up. That's part of practice. Meditation is not just sitting in a beautiful scenery on your cushion and just like meditating. That's not meditation. Means also dealing with whatever comes up and letting go, letting go, letting go, or rather healing the part of ourselves that need healing. So how do we do that? Well, there are many ways, and it depends on what your preference is. Journaling is one of my favorite tools. I like to journal, not diary so much. Diary is keeping track of whatever happened. Journaling is dealing with whatever comes up. So journaling is a big thing for me. I do it most mornings in the morning. You can go for a long walk in the woods and just process whatever comes up. Think about it, feel it. The most important thing is the felt sense or focusing, of which I have made a number of videos. And there's a book by that name of focusing. It's a very powerful practice. Therapy can be a good thing if there are issues that you need to work with. A therapist is trained to help with it. Something that my teacher really recommends. It can be a number of things. Some people use psychedelics to go further and deal with deep-seated issues. That's also as a possibility. But you have to see what works with you for you and talk to your teacher and see what he or she recommends. But there are many ways to deal with those things, and just a few that I brought up can just do wonders in your practice, in your life, in who you are, really. Um, so yeah, just keep going. If things come up, deal with it. Dream interpretation is big for me. Sometimes powerful dreams come up, and I've been doing it for many years. I keep a journal and I just interpret them, what the meaning it is, and they can be very insightful. Um, but yeah, just go deeper and deeper and deeper. Just don't change anything, right? Just because we feel bad, it doesn't mean that we have to change anything. Just keep doing with whatever we're doing. Just keep going to the retreats. Keep doing your meditation. Keep getting up early if you can and do your meditation, or late at night, whatever suits you. And just work with it. And sooner or later, those things dissolve and we go even deeper in our practice. This happened to me many, many times. So yeah, if you feel good in your practice, that's wonderful. But also if you feel bad in your practice, that's wonderful too. That means that you're doing the serious, deep work of Zazen, of meditation. I hope you find this helpful. I hope you jump even deeper in your practice. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave me a comment and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Wonderful. Talk to you next time. Bye.